you're selling any product on Pinterest, then this video is for you. Hey there, this is Shruti from digitalempires.co, and today I want to talk to you about how to get more sales using Pinterest. Now, as a fellow product-based entrepreneur, nothing lights me up like talking about strategies to make more sales and conversions, because I know that at the core of every business, you need to be making sales. Now, it's one thing to be driving traffic using Pinterest, but it's totally another thing to be actually converting that traffic into sales month after month consistently using Pinterest. The first tip that I want to share with you is to activate product-rich pins. Now, product-rich pins are essentially pins that have meta tags assigned to them that go into the description of what that particular product pin is all about. So whether it is about the quantity of the product left, or it is about the amount or the value that you're selling this product at, all of these different details are what get attached to the pin and then get uploaded when you save that pin on Pinterest. Now, it can take a little bit of time figuring out how to activate rich pins depending on what site or what store you have. However, it's totally worth it, because when Pinterest is figuring out exactly what products to show in the search feed, that's when it uses the data extracted from these rich pins to assign, rank, and distribute content to the right audience. So if you're not leveraging product rich pins already, I would suggest you to definitely look into the Pinterest business blog, look at the setup instructions that are provided for different types of stores, because no one store has the same setup instructions, and activate them ASAP. If you've tried to activate rich pins on your site but you haven't had success, the best place for you to seek out support is to write to Pinterest technical support and simply contact them about the status of your account and let them know that you have done XYZ steps and that you're still waiting for these pins to be activated. Usually when you do all the steps right, your rich pins should be activated within 3 to 5 days, but sometimes it can take longer and can even take up to a month for Pinterest to get back to you and fix all the errors in your account. The next tip that I want to share with you is to create video pins that showcase your product. Now, there are millions of products out there on Pinterest. Why should people be clicking on your pins, and why should they be buying your products compared to someone else's products? Now, this is a factor that comes into play specifically if you are a new product owner who has a new business, or you have an innovative line of products that not everyone knows about and not everyone understands. Now, in the sales psychology, there is a term called know, like, and trust, which basically means that people are most likely to buy from you if they know, like, and trust a brand or a product. This means that if you're selling a product which is brand new, or if you're selling a brand that is completely new and that is not on top of mind and is not like a popular brand, then you need to be spending time cultivating the know, like, and trust factor for your brand. Now, there's so many different ways that you can do it, but the reason why I recommend video pins is because Pinterest in and of itself is pushing out video pins in the algorithm, which means that if you're leveraging video pins to grow your company or your brand, you're gonna have a much faster growth compared to if you're just pinning simple image pins. Now, there's so many different ways that you can cultivate this know, like, and trust factor for your brand. One of the easiest ways for you to get started is to simply show behind the scenes of your business. So you can show the day-to-day activities of your business, what the warehouse looks like, what the office looks like, how do you ship your packages, and so on. You can also talk about a day in the life of an entrepreneur, so you can share your own personal story about how you started this business and what your aim and your goals and your vision are. Not only this, you can also showcase the benefits and the features of the product. So this is going to be a typical marketing style product pin, which you can create in a video format so that it gets more engagement. Not only this, you can also show the step-by-step process of creating your product. So for example, if you're selling a DIY product, you can show step-by-step how that is done in a video format. And last but not the least, you can also be showcasing and promoting your testimonials, your reviews, and your feedbacks. If you want these video pins to be consistently on the top of your profile, then you can actually upload them as story pins, which is another feature that Pinterest is actively promoting as well. So instead of just uploading a regular video pin, which is going to be pushed down and be in the saved feed, you can instead create these video pins in a story pin format so that they stay on the top of your profile, so that each time a new user comes, they can actually see the story behind your product or your brand. They can see what the entrepreneur or you are all about. They can see the process, they can see the features, they can see the reviews and feedback, and then make up a decision to buy your product. Now, there was a study that said that it usually takes 7 touch points for someone to buy your product online, which means that they have to see your product multiple times and in different formats before they make a decision to actually go and buy it. And one of the best ways that you can increase your sales on Pinterest by using this study and what it says is by leveraging video pins and story pins. Tip number 3 is to leverage purchase intent keywords. Now, when you use keywords or maybe even search engine optimization on Pinterest as a blogger or as a content creator, the keywords that you target are going to be completely different from the keywords that you target when you are a product seller. The reason being that your keywords and your content is geared toward driving you more conversions instead of just driving you traffic. This means that when you're doing your keyword research, you have to be looking at keywords which have a high purchase intent. Now, this strategy is pretty similar to when you're trying to sell your products through Google, or maybe even when you're trying to sell products through affiliate links. The reason being that when people are looking for purchase intent keywords, they're already in a frame of mind where they're ready to buy. So when you're looking for keywords, you have to be looking for keywords which have a high purchase intent. So instead of targeting the keyword gifts, you can target the keyword gifts for mom that I can buy for Mother's Day. And instead of targeting a keyword like candles, you can target keywords like eco-friendly candles or DIY candles. Because these keywords, when you strategically target them, are the keywords that people use to find products that they are ready to buy. So I might just be browsing around and looking for products, but if I'm not in the right mindset to actually buy that product, then I'm not going to click through and buy to it. Now, there are 2 things that you need to do to implement this tip. The first thing that you need to do is to do your research, which means that you need to spend some time identifying what these purchase intent keywords are for your particular niche or your industry. You can do it in 2 different ways. You can either head into the ads manager if you have access to it and start searching for keywords by volume which are relevant to your brands. Now, obviously, I cannot tell you which keywords are going to be right for your brand without knowing anything more about your business. So you are the one who is going to have to spend some time writing down a list of all of these keywords that are most likely to convert or have a purchase intent behind them. If you don't have access to ads manager, or you're simply looking for another way to leverage this keyword intent, you can simply head into your analytics and take a deep dive into what are the different categories and subcategories that your audience is interested in. Now, obviously, this method only works if you actually have some kind of audience. If you have less than 500 followers and less than 100,000 monthly views from Pinterest, then these numbers are unlikely to show you a lot of data. However, if you've been pinning on Pinterest for a while and you have a little bit of traction there, you might be able to dig into your analytics data and see what are the different keywords and subcategories that your audience is interested in, which you can target so that you can leverage more conversions on Pinterest. Step number 2 when it comes to leveraging these keywords is to actually implement the research that you have done. Now, at this step, you are going to be creating boards that are specifically targeted towards purchase intent, which means that instead of creating generic boards which are just based on generic keywords, you're going to be creating specific boards which target specific purchase intent keywords. Now, this could look like anything depending on what brand or what product you're selling, which is why step number 1, where you do the research and create a list of 10 to 15 keywords, is extremely critical at this step. Another thing that you can do to implement your research is to actually start creating new content that focuses on these keywords, so that in future, when you create new products that are related to these keywords, you can drive a bigger audience and you can drive a bigger conversion using Pinterest. Now, when it comes to keyword research and analytics, there is so much more to teach you. And if you're interested, you can check out my program, PINFLUENCER Academy, where I dive into a lot of detail of how exactly this whole process works and how exactly you can leverage it to build your brand and business. The next tip that I want to share with you is something that I see a lot of product owners ignore, and that is to educate your audience. Now, as a fellow business owner, I understand the need to be making sales and the emphasis that we have on making sales. However, don't just start pitching and selling your products from day one without even educating your audience. Now, if you sell something which is really commonsensical and that already exists and has no innovation, or is something that people will use in their daily lives, then you probably can skip this step and you don't need to spend time educating your audience. However, if you're a small brand that is trying to create a product in a different way, or maybe even trying to target a different section of a particular audience, or do anything innovative for that matter, you are going to need to spend some time educating your audience. In other words, you can't really sell a product that there is no need for, and sometimes consumers have to be educated that there's a need for a product before they actually go and buy that. Take for example Apple. When they first released their iPhone, nobody actually knew that we needed an iPhone. However, they spent time educating, marketing, and nurturing their audience to make them understand why this iPhone was different and better than other phones out there in the market, which is what has led to their success. Now, obviously, if you sell a crappy product, no amount of educating your audience is going to get you more sales. Now, assuming your product does what it says and has good feedback, the job is not yet over. You do need to be spending time educating and nurturing your audience even on Pinterest. Now you might be wondering, how can you do this? One of the easiest ways for you to do it is by creating educational blog posts around the products that you have. So you can either create blog posts on how this product is used or how this product is created, or even incorporate it into different educational articles revolving around your industry. The next way to build awareness around your product is to collaborate with influencers, bloggers, or any kind of personal brands in that particular niche so that they can also educate their audiences about how this product is used and what are the different benefits and features of it as well. Not only will this help you grow your audience base, but it will also help you increase your sales in the long run, because the more people that know why they need your product and what the product is all about, the more likely they are to convert and actually buy it. And another way that you can educate your audience is by creating story pins that showcase the effects of your products. So for example, if you're selling an acne cream which has a revolutionary technology, maybe you can show the before and after experience of an influencer or even your own experience to showcase how the product actually works. The bottom line is that without your potential customers knowing that there is a need for your product, and without them knowing how your product is differentiated from all the other products out there, it is going to be hard for you to be driving sales in the long run. So do adopt a slightly longer term strategy and focus on educating your audience instead of just making sales all the time. The next tip that I have for you is to test promoted pins. Now, promoted pins are essentially pins that are sponsored pins which you can select and showcase to a specific audience in a specific country using specific keywords. Now, the reason why I said test promoted pins is because this is a strategy that you actually need to test for your brand and see how that works. If you're a brand new business or even a business owner that is struggling to grow your sales on Pinterest, one of the most effective ways for you to quickly scale up your reach as well as your sales is by leveraging promoted pins. Now, I have a detailed step-by-step tutorial about how to create promoted pins on Pinterest, so you can check that out on my YouTube channel if you're interested in learning more about the technical steps behind it. When it comes to testing product pins, you don't need to have a large budget. You can actually even start with just $1 or $2 a day, and you can test different things. You can test the country that your audience is in, you can test the keywords that you're targeting, you can even split test different creatives and see which pins tend to perform better than the others. Obviously, this is something that does require a little bit of money, so you do need to have a little bit of budget set for promoted pins if this is something that you want to experiment with. The way I look at promoted pins is that you can use it as an add-on or a complementary strategy to your organic strategy on Pinterest. So once you know that a particular product is doing really well and you know that this product is likely to convert well and get you more sales, you can start putting some advertising budget behind it and also test that out with Pinterest. Another way to test with product pins is to see if there is a demand for new and upcoming products. So maybe you're currently in the process of creating a product that you're not really sure is going to sell, or you're not really sure how the response is going to be like. So you can actually put in a couple of dollars and see how the response to that particular product is, and based on that, figure out whether or not you want to go ahead with creating that product. Now, a pro tip that I have for you here when it comes to creating promoted pins is to first upload your pins as organic pins and then see how those pins perform. And once you know which pins are doing well, then you can select that particular pin to put advertising money behind it. The reason being that once you know that your creative is doing well, you're much less likely to be wasting money on ads instead of when you just randomly upload different creatives and test them out. Now, all of the tips that I mentioned thus far are tips that you need to keep in mind before the person actually arrives on your website or on your store to buy your product. But what happens once they've landed? The next tip that I want to share with you is to optimize your sales funnel. Now, again, as a product owner, a lot of time our emphasis is just going and promoting on social media and basically creating content that promotes our products, but we don't spend enough time optimizing the process of when a customer lands on your website and what happens from that point until the time that they check out and actually buy your product. Now, there are so many different things that go into landing page as well as sales optimization, but a couple of things that I can share with you that you must actually be testing and absolutely be looking at include things like, what is the average view duration on your page? So how long is a person staying on your page, especially when they're coming from Pinterest? You can look at your bounce rate, you can look into your Google Analytics or even your website analytics and see how long are people staying and bouncing from your website from. So are they checking out multiple products, or are they just checking out that one page and leaving from that? you can look at your landing page conversion rate. So how many people who land on your page actually end up buying. So if 5 people buy and there are 1,000 people that are viewing your page every month, you have a 5% conversion rate. You can even look at whether or not you have any social proof or reviews on your page. Are there any notifications that people are getting when they land on the page? Are there any annoying pop-ups that people are not enjoying or that is maybe disrupting their checkout experience? Not only this, you can also look at what happens if a person doesn't buy. Are they prompted to join your email list? What happens when they join your email list? And not just that, you can also look into the entire checkout process and see what is happening with the person when they actually check out. So are you giving them different options such as PayPal, credit cards, etc.? Is there any kind of friction involved when they're checking out? Is the page too slow to load? All of these different aspects are simply steps in your sales funnel that you need to be taking the time to analyze step by step. And this is a process that can take a lot longer than just simply creating a pin. So you do need to be analyzing it one day at a time, one step at a time, and try to see if there are small ways that you can improve the sales page conversions. When it comes to driving more sales from Pinterest, you can either drive a higher traffic, so you can drive a larger number, or you can convert a higher traffic. And that's exactly what I mean by improving your sales funnel. When you work on optimizing and improving your sales funnel, the same amount of people can lead to a lot more sales compared to a larger amount of people. And if you're working smart, you would actually focus on improving your conversion rate instead of just growing your traffic and hoping that people buy. Now, 2 concrete ways that any e-commerce entrepreneur can use to boost their conversions include: 1, using FOMO notifications. So using a social proof plugin, or maybe even showcasing reviews of your product on the landing page itself. You can use apps like Nudgify, which is what I use, and I believe there are tons of other apps that you can use as well to showcase social proof or what are the people who are actually buying those products. This is something that can really help a new customer who has just landed on your website feel more comfortable about buying your product because they see that other people have also bought that product and recommended it. The second way to boost your conversions is to find a way to direct the traffic that is not necessarily likely to buy at this stage but might buy later through adding them to your email list. So what you can do is probably give them $10 off or $20 off if they join your email list. This does 2 things. 1, it gets people into your customer list so that you can retarget them in the future and resell them in the future. And 2, it pushes people or gives them an incentive to buy something from your website if they know that it's going to be cheaper on their first purchase. You can absolutely make that discount coupon limited, and you can say that it's only limited for the first 24 or 48 hours, pushing people to actually buy your product when they land on your website. Now, if you're looking to learn more about how to grow your traffic and sales using Pinterest, I would invite you to check out my free Pinterest masterclass, which is going to be linked on the description box on this page. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I'll see you in the next one.